Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Milsurp World. This is Danny, and today I am here with my wife Samantha. Say hello for everyone, Samantha.
Hello.
So we are going to talk about some gun stories, some general military surplus stories and stuff like that. Just stuff that, our experiences with guns and military surplus just over the years of us being together. All right, so the first time that we went shooting, I I'll have to go back, I guess, a little bit with our relationship. So the audience, I'm from Florida. This is a little bit into our relationship history, I guess. But I'm from Florida, but I was visiting my best friend in Kansas City because he moved to Kansas City for a job, and I was visiting him, and I brought a couple guns. I brought a K98K and an M1 Garand. And we wanted to go shooting, or I wanted to go shooting. I wanted to bring you shooting. It was a little bit of a test. I wanted to see how you'd put up with me and guns and stuff. So we went to an indoor range, and I brought both guns. I brought the M1 and the K98K, and it turned out that I had some military surplus 30-06. And it's some type of Slavic 30-06. I'm not sure. It might be Yugoslavian or something. I know, people are probably thinking Yugoslavian 8mm, but it looks like Russian writing on these boxes. But anyway, I couldn't shoot it because it was magnetic. So, but the Yugoslavian 8mm that I brought with me for the K98K. It was not magnetic, so that's what we were able to shoot. So that's what we shot that day, and that was your very first time shooting a military surplus rifle, wasn't it?
So true.
Yeah, you probably never shot a gun before that at all.
I had shot a gun before then.
What was it?
Shotguns.
Yeah.
And then a few pistols. I don't know the names.
Yeah, it's okay.
So maybe a rifle. But definitely a shotgun. I remember the shotgun shells, and then, yeah.
Do you remember if the K98K or the shotgun kicked more?
No. I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
I think I remember being sore after that first day.
After the Mauser?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been sore too from shooting a lot, shooting the 8mm a lot too.
I worked out a lot more back then, so it could have been just from a workout too, but I think I specifically remember my shoulder hurting.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a fun day.
Yeah.
And then the next time we went shooting, we were in Florida, and then you finally got to shoot the M1, and that was cool. You did a really good job on holding it and everything, and shooting.
I think I leaned back too much. Still.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, girls tend to do that a lot. I think it just has to do with your center of balance.
It just feels more natural, I guess.
Yeah, because it's heavy, so you want to put the rifle over your center of.
I hate seeing those pictures and the videos
because I just back.
Look so. I just know that that's not the way you do it now. So I think, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
But even Tara was leaning back.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Like I said, yeah, I think it's just...
Tara's a sister, so when she shoots,
it's
just natural for us to lean back. I don't know why. Well, I guess two girls. Anyway, two women.
Yeah, I think it has to just do with, upper body strength and... Because I think women's center of, gravity is lower than on men's. Yours is, closer to your hips, and the guys is closer to the chest, or something like that. So
well, I remember Liam. He also leaned back a little bit too. So maybe it's just something.
Inexperienced shooters do, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool.
Seem natural.
And since then, that's kind of funny. I just thought, you shot. So you shot in that was Kansas, I think.
Yep.
I think that was around Kansas City, Kansas. And then you've shot in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just watching a video of where we were in St. George, Utah, out at this beautiful shooting range. The range that we were at, on the YouTube channel, I'll show a little clip of it. But the range that we were at there in St. George is really close to, it's not the exact one, it's like a mile away or something. but it's really close to the range where they hold the Red October match every year. And it's crazy when we lived there for like we were there for like 3 months.
Yeah, we weren't there for long.
Yeah, but I didn't know about Red October, and I think it was after.
I think it happened right then. Like it was one of the weekends we were there because it was in October. We lived there during October.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy that it just happened to be living at the place had that match, and like I didn't.
And you didn't even know.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I'd really love to do that, but that's a long drive from here. It's a long drive from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
So we shot in St. George, and you shot your Swedish Mauser carbine, M9414.
The little one.
Yeah, and that's a cool little gun. So Mauser carbines, especially when they're like cavalry carbines and they have like around like an 18 or 17 inch barrel or whatever, those are really nice because they're really light and handy.
Compact.
Yeah, compact. However, if the caliber is too high on them, like if they're 7.65 or 8 millimeter or something like that, then the recoil is a little bit too strong for a gun of that size. So I really liked the idea of the Swedish one because that was going to be, or that one's in 6.5, so it's much softer recoiling, so it wouldn't beat you up. And I think that gun that's how I got into Swedish Mausers, actually. Like I was looking for a specific gun that was, that still had a potent cartridge, but was, fairly light recoiling, and a package that was, smooth and easy to use and to handle. So yeah, that was the very first Swedish Mauser.
Is that the one I went hiking with?
Yes. And then we went shooting together. So there's Utah. Oh, we went shooting in Arizona. For sure, in the desert. Remember when we were in St. George?
A bunch of times.
So we shot at that range, but then I found some BLM land that was really close to where we were living in St. George. And that was just on the Arizona side of the border. So that's Arizona. Shot in Arizona. And then Washington State.
Well,
we were there.
You missed Salt Lake City.
I was just kind of out of Utah.
You're just saying
we shot.
city.
Yeah, then we shot in the mountains.
States.
And
I see.
yeah, I shot in the mountains.
Have we ever shot in Missouri?
No. Well, I have, but you haven't. We haven't done it together.
You went with Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I've shot in Missouri, just without you.
Yeah. Got a list. It's like a list of states, like not a list of states that we've been to, but like a list of states that you've shot a gun in. That's funny.
So then Washington. Yeah,
Washington State. We went up into that really rocky, rainy range up there in the mountains. That was at the Capitol Forest or something like that. Capitol Forest Park, I think, is the name of it. I'm surprised stuff like that exists in Washington now. Not going to exist for much longer there, probably.
You shot a gun in Maine.
Oh, yeah, I shot a gun in Maine. Yeah, the machine guns. That was cool. But, so you've shot quite a few military surplus rifles. Mm-hmm. And you probably can't remember most of their names.
Nope.
It's mostly like, she's a really good sport. So it's usually I'll be making a video and I'm out, and then I go and I'm like, hey babe, you mind shooting this gun for me on camera? And she always says yes, and she'll come out and shoot it for me and give her opinion and stuff like that. She's a really good sport like that.
Aww.
So it's kind of why you're doing this with me right now. What was your favorite gun thing? Probably was it the hike? The hike that we did?
I think that was fun. I didn't shoot anything on the hike.
Yeah.
We just carried the gun around. So that was good,
beautiful.
But I don't really count that as a gun. Like, for me specifically, shooting a gun, I don't really count that.
A gun activity? An activity with guns in it?
A shooting experience. How about that?
Okay.
I don't count it as a shooting experience. My favorite gun activity, that could be one of them. Just hiking. I just don't feel like it's much of an activity with guns. My favorite shooting experience. Mm-hmm. I really like the Arasaka.
Oh, yeah.
I call it the Agasaki.
Yeah.
But that's probably one of my favorite guns to shoot. And we have it in a 22.
No, it's...
Damn it.
Yeah, they're different.
380?
It's 39. You're
Damn
thinking
it.
39.
No.
It's 7.62 by 39.
Well, isn't
It's
it? You
yeah.
can shoot it for a lot cheaper because the
Oh yeah.
bullets are...
Oh, it's super cheap to shoot.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah. So in case you're listening, you haven't seen my video. It's on YouTube. I have an Arasaka. I think it's a Type 38. Possibly it was a carbine that was converted by the Chinese to 7.62 by 39. So it is way cheaper to shoot than a regular Japanese Arasaka, which is very expensive to shoot if you can find the ammo. And 7.62 by 39 is also very soft recoiling. So it's another
it's super nice to shoot.
Yeah, it's another light recoiling carbine for you. So pretty much any time I can think of like a carbine,
a wussy gun.
Maybe. But anytime I could think of
fair.
a carbine that has light, that's
I
light,
like
handy.
shorter guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Didn't you get a Swiss short gun for me recently? Or am I making that up?
German.
What's the recent one?
The most recent one that I showed you, I think, was the 3340. I don't know if you remember it, but it's a German Mauser. It looks kind of like a K98K, but shorter.
Yeah, I think I like the looks of that one too.
Yeah,
I haven't
that one
shot
kicks
it,
a little bit more. I haven't shot it either. I want to go shoot it. I'm planning on, man. I haven't been shooting in a while.
Yeah, well,
I got to go shooting. I'm having withdrawals.
The Arasaka was my favorite to shoot. I wish I could say it was a Mauser, but...
You know what? It's a Mauser derivative.
Oh, okay then.
It's the action is based on a Mauser.
And literally the only reason I want it to be a Mauser is because I know that's your favorite gun type. So I'm just true to you, babe.
Oh.
Except not, I guess.
Thanks.
Because I like the Arasaka. Or
Yeah, it's
Agasaki.
nice. If it had a curved bolt, other than the straight bolt, I would say it'd be almost perfect. If it had a side sling,
that. I like curved bolts better than straight bolts. Just aesthetically. And I think practically too.
Yeah, they just stick out there.
Yeah.
And it's
put that away.
Yeah. So if the Arasaka carbine had a bent bolt or turned down bolt and a side sling, it would be perfect. It'd be amazing.
I know you love your side slings.
Yeah.
I bet after hiking around with that, I wouldn't like it as much.
Yeah, it's still pretty short and light.
Yeah, but the sling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think most people that don't anyone who's listened to me talk about it before, that I am a big fan of side slings on rifles, and that's just because I've actually carried guns around a lot, just hiking and outdoors in general. And I mean, sometimes I'll be real nerdy, and if I buy a new gun, and I'll just put it on my back and I'll just carry it around the house.
That's very
throughout
true.
part of the day. Yeah, she's seen it
With other clothes that correlate with said
Yeah,
gun.
sometimes. But when I bought that G3340, I was super happy to get it because I've wanted one of those for a long time, and I carried it around on my back for
days.
So I'm pretty sure I was
and by
cooking.
days I mean 2 or 3 days at least.
Yeah,
At least.
they're gonna know really how nerdy I am now. But I'm pretty sure I was cooking one day in the kitchen with that on my back, and it's just not even. It's not even a thing. I don't even think you said anything.
To have it on there. No,
Yeah.
I don't. There's guns all over the place. Since we don't have children, it's fine. But
Not exactly all over the place. That's a little exaggeration.
You're right. They're just in.
They're safe in safe places, unloaded. Not like anyone's gonna trip on them or anything.
True. They just seem all over the place to me.
It's organized chaos.
It is. At least he doesn't put his gun... He has his own area now, so gun parts stay in that area now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice. When we were in a small apartment, it was a little more ridiculous.
She'd go to I think, did we put that in our video, Living with a Gun Guy video? Where
Yeah,
you're
on
trying
the
to go to
bed.
bed. Yeah. That's so true. Like you'd be trying to go to bed and there's guns all over the bed. And you're like,
And gun parts, so I don't even know, like, a gun you can just lean against the wall, if it's unloaded and safe. But, the gun parts, I don't know where you want me to put them. And, We've evolved.
Yeah, luckily we bought a house, so I got all my guns now in one spot.
Safe.
Yes, safe. They are safe.
Still seems like it's all over the place. But
yeah.
It's more like gun parts.
Yeah. What was really interesting is when we lived in hotels.
Oh, boy.
For so long with guns.
That's an interesting situation.
So in our line of work, we lived in, the whole time we were in Utah, we lived in hotels. Mm-hmm. Which was really kind of like an adventure.
So we were homeless.
Yeah, so we didn't have a house or an apartment really or home base. We were both Florida residents at that time. Mm-hmm. So, but we were living in hotels in Utah because that's where we were working. We had 2 cars
and a dog.
Yeah, with both cars that we drove over to Utah and our dog. And but the interesting part of that was like having guns in the hotel rooms all
and
the time.
The guns.
So I always had to have cases for all of them. And if you look up my sports bags, liberal camouflage for guns video, you can kind of see how I got away with it.
Utah's very lenient also.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky to be
they're
in
very, very gun-friendly state. So it's not like we're breaking any laws or anything. But I kept guns in like sports bags and always in bags and stuff. And if we left the room, I would typically hide the guns, put like the rifles under the bed and stuff like that, and everything's always unloaded and stuff.
Yeah, but we'd make. So I lied. We had 2 cars, a dog, guns, and a storage unit. So it wouldn't just be taking them out of the hotel. It'd be
So we kept them in the storage unit. Like I would only really bring them back to the hotel to like film a video or something like that. We had a lot
of stuff in our storage unit.
Yeah, so we kept them in the storage unit, and then it was if I wanted to go to the range or something, I'd have to go and dig them all out.
Dig them all out. We did not have a very I think you organized it as well as you could, but it was just that was organized chaos.
Yeah.
For sure. 150%. That was rough.
Yeah, that was like an interesting life experience.
So living in hotels.
Mm-hmm. Living in hotels and then staying in Washington State. So when I say like lived, we weren't like residents there or whatever. We were just there for like an extended amount of time. I don't know exactly to say like we lived there, we stayed there, we were working there for a long time or whatever, but
when I say lived, I say it was more than 3 months. Or let's say more than 2 months. I think that's living somewhere. Like you are there constantly for more than 2 months because you get to know the place. You don't need GPS to go to the store or, the bank. To me. But that's also because
I don't know.
We move around a lot, so I just think it's... We lived in St. George, is what I think.
Yeah, I do say that too, but we were there for 3 months. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Washington State, I was really nervous gun-wise when we had to go to Washington State. I left most of my stuff locked up in Utah, but I brought a few things with us to Washington. And I was actually surprised how good the gun shows were in Washington State. Like, they were fantastic. They were very common. I swear, it felt like every weekend, pretty much, there's another gun show. It's about like it is here. There's a gun show just about every weekend here. They're not as good, though.
Yeah.
They're not as good as they were in Washington. I don't know what it was, but I don't know if there's just, like, not enough, like, younger people getting into or whatever, but... Yeah, every weekend I was going to a gun show, and it was some incredible deals there, just because, I don't know why, but it's just incredible deals all the time. All right, so that, I've said this before in other videos, but I haven't done it in a while, but I'm into reenacting. And I've just kind of always thought it's really cool to, like, I really like the idea of sort of putting on, like, the uniform and gear of, like, a particular soldier in a particular time period. I think it's just cool throughout all time periods. Like, if you got dressed up, like, as a Knights Templar or, like, a Civil War soldier or, like, somebody in World War II, like, I just think it's really cool to walk a mile in their shoes, so to speak, and it really lets you understand, like, doing that really lets you understand, like, so doing that really lets you understand something like, oh, why did they keep that pouch there, or why is it that thing slung that way, or it really kind of makes stuff real to you. So it's not just like an abstract knowledge, or it's not like just some arbitrary thing. Like you know it. I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining.
I think you do it because you want the physical experience of it. I don't think you can ever, and I think you know this, appreciate the mental experience, but you can at least dress up, run around, and feel that how it all felt.
Yeah.
Physically. Maybe even not 100% physically, but you want to. Yeah. You're trying to empathize more than just holding the weapon, and reading the books. You're trying to take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That sounded good. That sounded really good. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I got into history, and I loved reading memoirs, reading history books, and just doing research and everything. And just thought it was fascinating. And I knew that there was Civil War reenacting, and there's a lot of that, especially the part of Florida where I'm from. And I remember when I found a guy who did World War II reenacting, and I was like what? Like what is what's that? And he just told me all about it. Like they get dressed up in like exactly what they would wear back then. It's very authentic. And then they they go out, depending on the type of event, they do different kind of historically based things. And I love the idea of that. Our dog is snoring right now. I don't know if you can hear it.
Kingston.
So I got into reenacting, and I remember my first reenactment. So it was at I think it was a reenactment of Operation Cobra. So it's 1944 France, and it's the Allied breakout of going through like when the Allies like went through all the hedgerows, the hedgerow country. And so it was a reenactment of that, and it was on a farm that had actual hedgerows, and there were guys brought tanks and half tracks and trucks, and it was really, really cool. And I remember I was with a unit, and I was running around with the sergeant, and the sergeant's like, okay, here, stay here with this guy and guard this area from whatever. So I was doing that, but as I was walking to that position, I saw like up ahead, like a few hundred, maybe 500 yards away or so, I see a Sherman tank, and just it looked like 50 guys all around it, and like a half track, and I can hear machine guns going off, and it's just very realistic sounding, and I can hear like the metal screeching of the tank tracks and everything, and like I knew that group of guys was coming towards me. And I knew like their purpose and like coming towards me was to like basically destroy me. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it's just pretend. I knew that I was going to be safe, and like I'm not really going to die. But just in being in that situation and seeing all of that coming at you, it gives you like just a tiny taste of what it must have been like for a soldier in that sort of experience. So. That's the reason why I do it. Like I just get a tiny bit of flavor of what it would be like to be there, and some of the experiences are rough. Like it's hard, because you're sleeping in the cold or whatever. But sometimes the experiences are great because you you can go out and you reenact with great guys, and you know, have fun with cool people, and you learn a lot. So, anywho, I kind of went off there for a bit talking about reenacting.
That's okay.
But you are super cool because, so my wife Samantha, she actually started reenacting with me. So I bought her. Yeah,
well, first you put me in your clothes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, first I dressed
another
her up.
Test, I suspect.
Yeah, first that was only a couple months after we started dating too. You got on. I dressed you up in like a regular combat uniform and everything, and you had a rifle and stuff, and that was really cool. And then,
was that the night? That was for your birthday, I think. And then we ate sauerbraten, I think.
Yeah, we had a German meal. Yeah, it was pretty nice. And then we got you an actual a female auxiliary signal corps uniform.
Yep. So I got my uniform. We bought it online. I don't know what to say about it. It was a mixture of online and self-purchases. Finding the shoes was more difficult than just an online purchase. But I really...
And then no one website had like all of the female auxiliary patches.
And like the patches, yeah.
So I'd have to buy like one patch from one website from like in England and one website random whatever Chinese website, and so we had to like put it together. That work. Yeah, I was just really motivated to get you a good looking uniform.
You're really good at that sort of thing, and I just trusted that it all worked. I think I sewed it on. I sewed all the patches on, but you told me where to sew them, and I trusted you.
Yeah, and it was a very good looking uniform, and
no one turned me away.
Yeah, that's true. No one turned us away. Our first event together, so it was your very first reenactment where participating, was where you... it was at a train museum.
It was a train museum.
And so I was just like a regular soldier, so she couldn't like just tag along with me. So what they did was they put her with the general. Mm-hmm. So the event had like a general, and so you were kind of part of like the general staff. And I think they gave you like a notebook or something, and you kind of followed him around and
pretended to take notes as he yelled at people.
Yeah. So it was a really cool event. So it was open to the public. I forgot the name of this event. On Kessinger's Express. It's close to Tampa, Florida. And so it's open to the public, so you can go and just buy tickets and just be like a regular part of the public there.
And I think they donate some to charity and some to the museum.
Yeah. So most of it,
it's like a fundraiser.
Yeah, I think most of it goes to help the train museum, and it's really cool because you actually get to ride the train in it. So, so the general public, you would go there, and they give you like a little booklet. It kind of looks like a Veripass. So you get this little pass booklet, and you have to get in line, and there's like these like Nazi guys that are like,
give me your papers.
Yeah, give me your papers, and like you have to get in line, and there's like these like big banners all around you, and they yell at you, give me your papers. Oh, where's this paper? Oh, you're missing this, and
and they have passengers that are reenacting. Yes, they dress up, and
there's other reenactors there that are
like a skit almost. The whole thing is
it's all kind of coordinated,
very theatrical.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. If you're around Central Florida, I would look it up online and see. I think it only happens one weekend a year, but look it up. It's a lot of fun.
On Kessinger's Express.
Yeah. So that was your very first event. So you got to follow around the general.
We have a couple pictures from that one, maybe?
Yep, we do. We have a couple pictures. That was a lot of fun, though. You didn't get to do... I know you wanted to run around and fight and stuff. And you can't really...
No.
Because that's one of those weird things where, like, I don't know how some units, like, wouldn't let, like, a female in their unit or whatever. I don't know how that works, but we never really tried. And we've only been to 2 events together. We went to that one, and then we went to another one in southern Alabama, which was...
where I rode the Kubelwagen.
Yeah, you got put. Is this sort of the same thing? They put you with.
They always put me with the higher ups.
Yeah, so she got put with.
I'm a good secretary.
I don't know if he was a colonel or major captain or
Seemed
something.
Important.
Yeah, and so she got to ride around this like battlefield in a Kugelwagen, which was really cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
You got a better workout, but it was cool.
Yeah. So I was just.
And that one we actually camped out, so that was awesome.
Yeah, we camped there. We used Zelts.
Zelts.
Yeah, so we made a Zelt tent and
which my
there.
face, like I rolled out of, basically.
Yeah, so it didn't like, it just, the tent sort of goes to like the ground and stops. And it was really cold. It was in the middle of winter.
We have pictures of that too.
Yeah, we have some pictures of that. And yeah, in the middle of the night, I think you rolled over and your face was like outside the tent.
Yeah, because I just like rolled right on out. But I have a thing where I get super hot when I sleep, so I'm a little heater. Did you get to shoot
any of the guns at the reenactment?
I don't think I did, no.
It's you see a lot of cool guns at reenactments, and I think
you shot a one that you were like, or did you not shoot it?
No, I got to shoot one. There's a guy there with a real MP40, and he let me shoot his MP40. And so that's like the first time I've ever shot an MP40. I've got to handle them a couple times, but that was the first time I got to shoot one. Was at that event. That was really cool. That same event, they had the guy who owned the MP40. He had an MG42, and so I'm just like, my gear and everything is set up just like a soldier, just like a regular rifleman. And they were like, "Hey, who wants to carry on this MG42?" And I thought it was semi-automatic, right? So I'm like, oh, it's going to be this crappy little single shooter or whatever. I don't want to lug that weight around, whatever. I got my rifle. So I didn't volunteer to do it, but so somebody else volunteered to carry it around. And we get into combat, and this guy, lays down with the MG42 and then just like rips this belt, just, and I was like, oh, I knew I made a big mistake by not volunteering to shoot the MG42, because that would have been a lot of fun.
Stupid.
Yeah, because I've never shot one of those before.
At that one, they did have a girl that reenacted as a...
Oh, yeah, as a Russian. Yeah, so that event was...
They had a couple girls, huh?
Mm-hmm. It was German versus
Women.
Russian.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it was Germans versus Russians, and the Russian reenactors, I think they were like Russian and Ukrainian and everything. So
yeah, they were actually,
like they spoke Russian.
It was so cool because at night they let us come around their campfire.
So we went to their camp
and they sang us songs.
Yeah, they sang like real World War II Russian songs, like in
awesome.
Russian, and I think one of them played a guitar
and offered us a lot of vodka.
Yeah, they're just like, it was just a stereotypical thing of
best.
Like singing Russian war songs and drinking vodka, and then somebody was translating for us.
Yeah. Because they were really strange translations.
Yeah, they didn't quite like make perfect sense.
That was really cool.
But yeah, no, that was really fun, and that's just like one of those things that you get out of reenacting. That's just like this like priceless moment. Mm-hmm. Like where else would you do something like that?
I think I'm still friends with some of them on Facebook, but I don't really talk to them anymore. Yeah. They were super nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of history and stuff out of the reenacting.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, what do you think about gun collecting and what I do with like collecting these old guns and taking them apart and learning all the nuances about them all?
You want my honest opinion?
Semi-honest opinion.
I think your appreciation for how the rifles work and their history is really cool. I think you're excessive and you don't need as many as you do, as you have. And,
it's not called a bill of needs.
I think it's cool. I think you go to a lot of gun shows, so that takes up a lot of time A lot of good Saturday mornings.
There's one in Topeka tomorrow.
No. Let's talk about that. We'll see. But I think it's a good... I think you could have worse hobbies or collections.
Yeah, I could collect stamps.
I think that people also... If you in general, I don't think come off, and I think, people may be listening to this are like, oh yeah, of course he's a gun person, but you in general, in life outside of guns and firearms, don't usually come off like this.
People are always super surprised.
Yes, they're like, you're into guns, and then I think we've had some people even come over and say, wow, I had no idea. When they see, your backsplash of guns and in your areas that are all, locked up and nicely secured. However, it's just a lot to take in, and I forget that sometimes until normal people come by and they're like, oh my goodness, what is this? And we like to call it a museum. So it's not... It's
my little museum.
It's not... I think it's not a scary place, but I think people... It doesn't bother me at all. But I think some other people might think it's kind of like psychotic.
That's a strong word.
I mean, it's different than a lot of other things.
They're not like scary stuff. They're old, like 100-year-old.
They are old, and they're beautiful. And that's why I love them on the wall. I think that they shouldn't be... I think all the ones that are in cases, should be like up on a wall. They are beautiful. I think they are. I'm saying perception. If you told people just outright, hi, I'm Danny. I have so-and-so rifles. And I have it just gets a little... I mean, I'm not judgmental. I'm very supportive. That's the whole thing.
Are. No, you definitely are.
To me, it just seemed almost, it's a bordering on obsessive.
I couldn't have this hobby if you weren't supportive, so.
Yeah. It's bordering on obsessive. You live and breathe it.
I get it. Like, I am just super passionate about it.
So passionate.
I don't get why, but I swear it's like I live and breathe it.
He does. He loves it. It's not something I don't think I like that you are so passionate about something.
Yeah.
I wish I had something that I loved as much as you love Milsurp guns. I think it's nice. Excessive, but nice.
I mean, having a strong passion or a hobby is a good thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. And
I like taking them apart with you, and I think it's something that is really educational and good for me to do. So I can be prepared.
What did I say about that 1911 a long time ago? Remember taking it apart?
Oh man, that was another test. He tested me a lot in the beginning. He taught me how to take apart a beautiful 1911. You don't have that one anymore, do you? No. So we took it apart, and he said, I will marry you if you can put this together. In so many words.
Something like that, yeah.
Definitely marriage was in
it was. It was something like, if you can take this apart and put it back together, I'll marry you. Something like that.
Or I'm going to marry you or something. And so did I do it? I sure did.
Mean, yeah, that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're married today. Because I wouldn't let him not. No. Just joking. I like taking them apart. I think it's cool. We don't ever do it, but...
Yeah, we should more often.
Yeah.
I haven't been super good about cleaning them lately.
Well, you don't shoot them.
Yeah, that's why.
They're beautiful wall decorations.
They are, and I think they make a nice
museum
backdrop in my videos, and a little museum. Yeah, one of my friends came over, and of course I'm like, hey, I got to show you my guns because he's into guns too. But this is the problem I have. Being a gun guy is that other people go, oh, so-and-so likes guns, y'all will get along. And it's like, oh no, there's such a small chance that he's into the guns like I'm into guns, And so this guy, he's in the guns, and he comes over, And like I just started telling them about like, oh, and this gun and this gun and this gun, because most of the guns that I have a really like I'm passionate about them, and each gun on its own has a like neat developmental history. But then also like if I have a rifle, like I have an M91 Russian Mosin, and it was captured by the Austrians. So I can tell them like, yeah, this M91 was, it was made in, before World War I by the Tsarist Russia, and, it was used in World War I, and then this was actually captured by the Austro-Hungarians. They put the stamp on it, blah, 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 So it's just constantly that.
Hours.
Yes, and I don't know how many hours I talked to this guy, and eventually he's like, okay, man, let's take a break.
You have to be almost rude to you.
Yeah.
To get it through your head.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. So that's one of the reasons why I like doing this, and I like making making videos and stuff, because it's like an outlet for me. Because it would just build up, and I would just talk to random people about it. I talk to you a lot more if I didn't have this. You get enough of that. Yeah, you I bore. I know I bore. I know that look that you get when I'm talking to you about guns. You just glaze over. It's like glaze over. Yeah.
I do. I just want you to get it out. Just get it out, talk, say your piece, and then we can move on.
Yep.
I usually try to be interested for like the first 20 seconds.
You really do. I could tell, like, you genuinely go, oh, that's interesting. You give me a good 20, 30 seconds before the glaze.
Well, and sometimes he's a really slow talker too, so that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's true. I'm from the South, y'all.
He is.
So I would have to say though, like kind of what you said, to back myself up here, there are way worse hobbies.
Yes.
And way worse things to collect.
Let's think. A worse collection in my mind, not this is.
Oh, I can name so many.
Just for me. You name one and then I'll name one. Let me think of one. Oh, I got one.
Okay.
Bongs.
Oh, yeah.
Like having a room full of bongs would be
a room full of drug paraphernalia.
Yeah.
That is a terrible hobby. You are correct.
Thank you. That's a good one.
Branch, but
okay, well, what do you have?
I was going to say cameras.
All kinds of cameras?
Yeah,
ooh,
so
I got another one.
I knew a doctor who he collected cameras, and so it's all technology based, and so it just depreciates. And I get it, like if you like the history and development of like various cameras, and like look, this is so and so millimeter, and then this is 35 millimeter, and this is digital, and this is the very first digital camera. Like I get that, but like if you just buy a lot of random ones, then that's just technology. That just depreciates. It's almost like if you collected like video game consoles or something like that, like whatever you buy, like that just depreciates.
Yeah.
Or like electronics in general.
What
like
about Kiss paraphernalia?
I have no idea.
Like Kiss bobbleheads, and they have so many things.
I mean, they're making more of it. So anything that they're still making more of or improving
can't be a collection.
Is typically not a great thing to collect.
Oh, I got one. What about McDonald's toys? That's an awful collection.
Yeah, but I mean, like, say if you collected like vintage, I don't even know if McDonald's did like 1970s Star Wars action figures or whatever, but like, I'm sure some of that could get pretty big money, but it's probably dumb to do it.
To me, I don't think collections are worth very much anyway. I'm not a collector, except of clothes, which isn't on purpose.
And
I just
shoes.
like to buy clothes and shoes. So it's not like I'm like, oh, look at this pair of shoes that I bought from Walmart 3 years ago. Like, I'm not really that type of collector. I just like to buy shoes. But I would not say my shoe collection even matches. It's like not even a collection compared to what you have.
Yeah, so my gun collection, I can say for a fact that it is worth more than I have in it, and it's only going up.
Okay.
Every year. The value of it is
it's not about
the
the money for you
So,
anyway.
no, it's not. But financially, it's a pretty smart collection.
It's only worth what someone will pay for it, and if you are ready to let it go.
That's
we have
true.
this discussion all of the time.
We really do.
So it's not really... I don't think it's worth anything unless you're willing to let it go. Deal?
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, if you're not willing to let it go, that's not worth anything.
No,
Until
but
you're ready to let it go.
everything has a market value. It doesn't have to be for sale to have like a value.
I think at the moment you are ready to put it on the market, then you can compare it to the market value. But if you are not ready to put it on the market, then you can't know exactly what it will be when you are ready to put it on the market.
Agree with that. We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay. And it's only worth what someone will pay you for. My grandpa taught me that.
That's true.
When I was trying to be a Beanie Baby collector.
Oh, Beanie Babies, that's a bad collection.
That's a bad collection. That's a bad one. I think I got up to 4.
4? Really?
Yes, I was.
Man.
We were poor, so I was happy to have 4. I had the manatee. I collect Kingston hair.
Yeah, we're dog hair collectors. Our dog
That's free.
gives us, it's
and
free.
worthless.
I mean, not exact. He's not really free.
Well, his hair to
We have to
us.
we have to feed him to get hair.
Mm.
So if anybody wants Cavalier dog hair,
Yeah.
just email me.
Yeah.
I'll
Email.
hook you up. Straight out of the vacuum.
Especially because we're gonna give him a haircut soon.
Okay, so what would you say, if you can remember most of the Milsurps that you shot, what's your favorite military surplus that you've either handled or shot?
Is it Arizaka one?
Yeah, that would count.
I think that counts in my mind just because I can remember the name. I remember shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember liking it. So I think that one's really good. I also like the one we just recently shot in Florida.
Yeah, the
It was
M1,
like, pew,
M1
pew,
carbine.
pew. Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So those two are probably in my top. I mean, just because of those reasons. I remember the experience, which means I liked it.
And they both kicked less than
Yeah.
the M94. So they got that going for them.
Maybe we could do a whole bunch of little guns, little rifles, carbines,
Yeah, that'd be a cool.
and see which one I like best
Mhm.
out of all of them. And
That'd
then
be
which
cool,
one
that's
you
good.
liked best, too.
Yeah, that'd be a fun idea for a video. Let's go shooting.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Guys, winter sucks here.
Winter sucks here.
In Florida, winter's the best time of the year.
Yes, it doesn't suck there.
Nope. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What is your favorite military surplus?
Oh man, that's so tough.
I know. Let's hear it.
I ask myself that all the time.
I'm sure you do.
I'm legitimately. I have it drawn out. I'm developing like a grading scale for military surplus rifles, and it gets points for various things like having a side sling, having a semi-pistol grip, not being in a rimmed cartridge, and I'm really honestly trying to figure that out.
So like what is your top 2 then? I gave you 2. You can have 2.
Oh boy!
Seriously?
I don't even know if I could. I don't know. Off the top of my head,
Yeah, just spitball.
my top 2 would be a K98K and a K31.
Are those Mausers?
The K98K is.
Well, what's a K31?
K31 is like Swiss.
Oh.
Swiss, yeah. I would say that those 2 are my favorite off the top of my head. And I'm saying that even being a huge Swedish Mauser fan.
Is the Swiss one the one that I liked, or no?
You shot.
No.
So you've shot a K31
The
before.
the one that I thought was pretty, or was beautiful.
Oh, that was a Swiss Vetterli.
Yes.
Yeah, you've not. Neither one of us has shot that before.
Did you buy one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be really hard. I'm going to have to get like my reloading set up to be able to reload bullets for that one. Yeah, you liked the trigger guard on it, right?
Beautiful.
How it's got like a little extra finger thing.
Yeah, but
it's a
I
very
think it
ornate
just had a
looking.
beautiful, detail.
Yeah, it's a very ornate looking gun.
I also like the guns that have the grid cut out on them, where your hand goes.
Yeah, that's the Betterly.
Yeah,
You really like that gun.
I do. I really like that.
It's
gun.
a classy
I like
looking
the
gun.
detail work that's in it.
Yes. They put a high amount of craftsmanship into those guns. They are super classy looking. Okay, here's a question for you.
Okay.
So if you could make a video for Milsurp World, like a gun video, what would you do?
What would I do?
Like you just mentioned, like the range day, and that's a really great idea.
Yeah. What would I shoot?
Yeah, like just if you could do anything, you could just make a video.
Any
for the channel.
Milsurp gun.
Yeah.
It has to be a gun. I think it would be fun to take apart a gun and put it back together and see, like, as a competition.
Oh, like us both doing it?
Yeah, or you and someone else, or you, and then you ask everyone else how fast they are. Like, even on,
Oh yeah.
subscribers, how fast can you do it? Or, I don't know. That might be dumb.
It's not a bad idea. Like if I did a gun that was fairly common that a lot of the viewers would also have,
Yeah.
and they could record themselves doing it maybe, or just do it and see.
Yeah.
I've never disassembled something on a timer.
Yeah, I think I think he might be bad at it because he's very slow at things.
Yes, I'm very slow and methodical.
He'll
I
do
run
something
on Southern time.
3 times slower than me, but it will be a better product. But I'll have gotten it done 2 weeks ahead of time. So it is very true. His work is better, but it's that triangle. I'll get it done faster, less quality.
Yeah, the triangle. What is it?
Time, money.
Yeah, time, money, and quality. I think.
Quality.
Yeah, you can have 2 out of the 3. All right, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how nerdy is my hobby?
1 being
like
not nerdy.
like fantasy football, pretty mainstream, whatever.
Wait, fantasy football is nerdy?
No, not nerdy.
Oh, okay. See, because I think that's...
Like 1. No, the higher the number, the more nerdy.
Okay.
So 1 being like fantasy football, and 10.
I think fantasy football is nerdy.
Okay, maybe it's not a great example.
No.
1 being, oh gosh, what's something not nerdy hobby wise?
I'm a pretty big nerd. I think this will be skewed. It's
She
not
is a big nerd. I was gonna say a 10 being like D&D.
That's cool though. I like D&D.
All right,
It's
but
fun.
D&D is a 10.
Well, then it's a 1 because you're not nerdy, or it's a 10. I don't know. I think it's a hard question for me because I'm definitely on the spectrum of nerddom.
She is. When we met, she played Pathfinder.
I
which
still
is like a D&D.
want to play Pathfinder and D&D. I have my D20. I have my D12. I'm ready to go.
I am either not that nerdy or not that kind of nerdy. I don't know.
I'm trying really hard. So any tips on getting this guy into tabletop role playing would be great.
Yeah, I'm okay with dressing up. Like we're gonna dress up as like a medieval ranger, and you're gonna dress up as like
I like to be a bard.
A bard. And
Which
then
please don't judge me on that. I know that bards are kind of nerdy in the nerd world, but bards are very versatile. They give a lot of bonuses and are good support.
Okay, but
and you can do a lot.
I was going to say
it.
that we're okay with. I'm the type of nerdy enough that I would dress up as that and go to like the Renaissance fair.
But he won't actually sit with me after having a good home cooked meal and play with some friends around a table.
I probably would. I've had a lot of bad experiences. I've been dragged to quite a few Pathfinder games.
Not with me.
A couple with you.
Well. So anyway, I'm a bad person to ask 1 through 10 nerdiness. You're a pretty big nerd though.
Yeah.
In a good way.
I'd accept that. Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. We have I've very often thought about myself as being a gun nerd. Mm-hmm. And that's me and Tony. Yeah, me and Tony. That was our thing. Hey, Tony, if you're listening. You have been fantastic, Samantha.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on here.
Only took me a shot of vodka.
It only took her, that was probably 2. That was a lot. Only took her 2 shots of vodka.
I was nervous in the beginning.
Until it kicked in. So thank you for coming on. She's a very good sport, for putting up with me, for letting me do this type of stuff, and for participating.
So don't you guys think that he should play Pathfinder with me?
No, don't. That was not.
Kingston votes Pathfinder.
No, he votes food and sleep. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys like this format of, Samantha and I just kind of sitting and talking like this, let us know. If we get a lot of positive feedback, we'll keep doing this. But if we get negative feedback or no feedback, we'll probably just
get a divorce.
No, we'll probably just leave this podcasting just to me and Aaron. But this was fun. I like doing it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Or thanks for listening, not watching.
Oh, yeah.
I guess watching if you're on YouTube. If you listen to this on YouTube, but yeah.
Bye.